Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Big Show. This is Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. If you are a first-time listener, thanks for stopping by. As always, I am your host, Josh Lilquist, and we are happy to have you with us today. Once again, on this blustery, beautiful winter wonderland weekend that we have. I have my good friend and my good pal, Mr. Al Connick, is on the show here today. Al, how are you doing today?
You know what? I am feeling really good, Josh. How about yourself?
I'm feeling really good. It's been a great week. We had a little bit of snow this week, a phenomenal week.
Little bit.
Makes it look beautiful out there, but it also doesn't do anything to the stock market.
No,
the stock market's still moving, lots of opportunities. That's exactly what we're going to talk about here today on the show is all the opportunities with the markets. We're going to continue our stock analysis, go through some of the OTA picks that we have going for you. We had a couple people ask questions about some stocks, so we're going to analyze that. And on this first segment here, I'd like to go through a little bit of an overview on the market. But before we do that, I just want to mention our sponsor, Online Trading Academy. 25 years teaching people just like you how to trade and invest. Whether you're looking for short-term income strategies or long-term wealth strategies. That would be like your retirement accounts, 401k, IRA, how to make smart decisions within them if you're nearing retirement, planning for that, or if you're retired now. What do you have access to? That is actually your money. So we're going to talk about that a little bit on the third segment, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But as always, great moves in the markets this week. A little bit of a couple down days in the markets. The S&P 500, what was it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, big moves down. Even though they gapped higher, they went right back down, and which showed some nice shorting opportunities for people that know how to profit in down markets. We'll talk about that probably in the second segment. Oil, that one has really been kind of a sideways market here, since November. So it's kind of been a snooze fest there, but it's still been showing our pumps. The gas prices are still high. That dictates a lot of that. Been seeing a pop in the U.S. dollar. And I think that's driving a lot of the stock market decline is the strength in the U.S. dollar. Great market to analyze and understand how that works no matter what you're trading. It's kind of like they call it the king dollar that rules everything. So gold and silver, that's over the past few weeks here has shown a decline here from the highs on February 2nd down to this week here, 7% drop in gold. Same thing with silver, pretty similar there. But let's hear, what's your take on the market? We had some slight news this week, nothing real huge. What's your take on what's going on?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of news that came out, and most of that, the details showed that inflation was still an issue and that the Fed had a ways to go. In fact, on Wednesday, the Fed met and or the minutes from the Fed meeting in January released, and it showed that the Fed members, they expect further rate increases because of the necessity to tame inflation, which they're having a hard time doing. So most of them are looking at a 25 basis point move, but some are looking at and have talked about 50 basis points.
So what does that do to our listeners?
Well,
how does that impact our listeners that are listening now?
It impacts them because the market moves significantly based upon emotions of the public. And typically what happens is that a piece of news will come out and the public will try to anticipate what the impact of that is going to be. That's why we see so many big up and down moves in these markets.
Yeah, and that's why at Online Trading Academy we really focus on being ahead of that, doing what the market tells us and waiting for price to come to us and not reacting. You're already proactive on that.
Well, exactly. And you're going to see these big moves up and down. That volatility is going to be with us for a long time. And you should really learn how to look at volatility as one of your best friends as a trader or investor. That's where the opportunities are. But it really emphasizes the necessity of knowing how to participate in different market conditions. And that's where the volatility is going to give us the opportunities for some very attractive trades going forward. I think what's going to happen, though, a lot of the people that are following the old Wall Street standard, which is buy and hold, just put a portfolio together and hold on to it for decades, they're going to have a lot of sleepless nights. They're going to see their portfolios vacillate all over the place. Maybe by the end of the year, maybe they'll be up a little bit, maybe they'll be down, but it's probably going to be more along the lines of being flat. But the people that know how to take advantage of volatility have some fantastic opportunities. And you have to also look at what's happening in the economy. The CPI numbers came out last week. They were above estimates. Retail sales came out up 3% versus an estimation of 1.9%. The PPI, the Producer Price Index, up 0.7%. The estimate was for 0.4%, all pointing to a continued impact on inflation. So that's out there. There's a lot of people, and you're going to be getting opinions, and these opinions are going to be as disparate as possible. You're going to find people that say, you have to buy the dip. This is a great buying opportunity. You have other people that are going to say this is Armageddon. Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he said the economy's in the biggest bubble in history. God have mercy on us all. Those are words that you don't like to hear as an investor, especially as a long-term investor. But the opportunities here are for traders. This is a trader's market. And that doesn't mean that you have to sit in front of a computer all day long. You just have to learn how to use a strategy that allows you to identify the right time to get into something. It's not necessarily now the company. How good is the company? It's how good is the opportunity as an investment at this point or a trade at this point.
Yeah, that being said, I'm glad you brought that up, because if you continue to do exactly what you've always done, you're going to get those same results. And that's why we're seeing a lot of people that are pulling their money away from a money manager, and they want to do it themselves. Because if you think about it, you look at mechanics. Back in the day, a mechanic, all you needed is some tools, and you could pretty much fix anything.
You're right.
That has changed over time. You have to evolve with that. So now the mechanics that stayed around, they've had to adapt to technology. You have to use, it's very difficult to do things on your own that way now. So that's why you have to adapt with technology there, like mechanics do. And the same thing in the financial markets. You need to adapt to what current conditions are giving you, but also technology is changing for us as well. Technology is making trading and investing a lot simpler to get into.
Correct.
It's all available. You can do it anywhere as long as you have internet. That pine tree probably has internet these days. So as long as you have that, you can trade and invest anywhere, and that's a great thing. You mentioned a couple things. The impact of inflation by some of these news events that are coming out. People need other income strategies. They need to have a strategy or a backup plan no matter what happens with that. And that's why we have these investing classes here locally at Online Trading Academy. We have 2-hour investing classes. I want to invite people to come and check out and see what are some of the opportunities that you have. Don't let inflation or the impact of some of these news items happening and potentially increasing inflation or whatever that may be, don't let that bother you. Have a strategy set up so you have your best interest, and then you just keep on. What do they say, Adele? Keep on moving on, or something like that.
Keep on keeping on.
There you go. So let's give away some seats to this investing class to get started in the financial markets. If you're new or you've been investing before, text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats and a quick start kit, which has some OTA picks in there, which we're going to analyze some picks here coming up, some different stocks. Text investing to the number 210-210 right now for 2 seats. Coming up next, we're going to analyze those stocks. We're going to have a good time here on the show. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back.